Saitama and Genos were casually returning from the grocery store when they spotted an action figure of King. Saitama, reflecting on the nuances of fame, understood this was part of being a popular hero. Genos, always eager to support his master, suggested calling the toy company to create a Saitama action figure, but Saitama declined. Meanwhile, Tongue Stretcher was causing chaos, terrorizing the city. However, upon encountering King, the villain immediately surrendered, hearing the infamous King's engine. The crowd was in awe, marveling at King's supposed ability to defeat a monster with just a stare. Reporters flocked to interview King, who nonchalantly admitted he had no idea about the monster's location and was simply out shopping. Citing other commitments, King left the scene. King was later seen leaving a video game store where Genos and Saitama happened to spot him. Genos was curious about what King was doing there when they suddenly heard panicked shouts. Another monster had appeared, and Genos saw it as an opportunity to witness King's strength. A robot named G4 soon challenged King to a duel that allowed him to leave with the excuse of needing a bathroom break, warning that he would start harming civilians if King didn't return in 10 minutes. Panicking, King revealed to himself that he wasn't the strongest human alive, but just an ordinary otaku who had been mistakenly credited with others' heroic deeds. When Genos began fighting G4, King fled to his apartment to play his favorite video game, Heartbeat Hottie Sisters 2. Saitama followed and caught King in the act, leading King to quickly switch to another game in embarrassment. Saitama, unbothered, joined him in gaming, much to King's annoyance. Suddenly, a giant crow attacked King's apartment. In a panic, King wet his pants, exposing his deception. Saitama swiftly destroyed the bird monster, leading King to realize it had been Saitama who saved him from the octopus claw man years ago, the same monster that had given him the scar on his left eye. Grateful yet embarrassed, King continued playing video games with Saitama, while Genos, having defeated G4, received upgrades from Dr. Kusino using the robot's equipment. Elsewhere, Sich, facing the increasing rate of monster attacks and an ominous prophecy from Shibabawa, announced the recruitment of criminals to bolster the Hero Association's ranks. Speedo Sound Sonic left a meeting upon discovering Saitama was not present, having only attended to challenge him. In Z City, Fubuki discussed Saitama's unusual strength and rapid rise in the hero ranks with Eyelashes and Mountain Ape. They set out to find Saitama. Meanwhile, Saitama, visibly annoyed at King hogging all the game items, accidentally destroyed his controller. In a post-credit scene, a man named Garou ominously proclaimed that a slaughter party was about to begin after reading the day's news. During a tense meeting, Garou brazenly insults both the heroes and criminals, declaring his allegiance to the monsters and proclaiming everyone else his enemy. Demonstrating his formidable martial arts skills, he swiftly defeats the criminals and Sich's guards, including Magic Trick Man, Blue Fire, and Heavy Tank Loincloth. He spares Sich, leaving him with a message to spread the word of the monster Garou. Meanwhile, in his apartment, Saitama is engrossed in playing video games on the PlayStation Portable he borrowed from King. Genos, busy with chores, hears a knock at the door and opens it to find Speedo Sound Sonic, who is there to challenge Saitama. Genos and Sonic take their fight elsewhere, leaving Saitama undisturbed. At the same time, Fubuki, the leader of the Blizzard group and the top-ranked B-class hero, tries to persuade Saitama to join her faction. Saitama declines, prompting Fubuki to order her underlings, Eyelashes and Mountain Ape, to attack him. Saitama effortlessly defeats them with a single punch. Undeterred, Fubuki uses her psychic abilities against Saitama, but he remains unfazed. Saitama criticizes her reliance on underlings, warning that she will have no one to rely on when facing a stronger enemy. He declares factions to be useless and warns her never to insult heroes again. Ignoring his lecture, Fubuki attempts another attack, but is interrupted by the ongoing battle between Sonic and Genos. An imminent explosion looms, and Saitama saves Fubuki from the blast, emerging unscathed. Genos introduces himself to Fubuki as Saitama's disciple, much to her astonishment, as the idea of an S-class hero being a B-class hero's disciple baffles her. Sonic mocks Genos for his perceived slowness, prompting Genos to prove his speed by cutting off Sonic's ponytail. Sonic retaliates by creating shadow clone afterimages, forcing Genos to consider a massive explosion to defeat him. Saitama intervenes, reminding Genos that such an explosion would destroy his apartment. Saitama then challenges Sonic, who eagerly accepts. Sonic uses a more advanced shadow clone technique, but Saitama counters with Killer Move, Serious Side Hops, effortlessly passing through Sonic's afterimages and defeating him. Fubuki watches in awe as Saitama's sheer power becomes evident. Back in Saitama's apartment, Fubuki reveals that she is the younger sister of Tatsumaki, the S-class hero ranked second, known as the Tornado of Terror. She explains that she gathers underlings to compensate for her inability to match her sister's overwhelming strength. When Genos asks why she doesn't aim for the top spot in A-class, Fubuki explains that heroes like Sweet Mask and Atomic Samurai's disciples are beyond her strength. She admits that she will never be number one. Fubuki makes one last attempt to recruit Saitama, but he refuses again. Before she can insult him, King arrives to retrieve his video game console. Fubuki is stunned to see King, while Saitama sheepishly admits to accidentally destroying the PSP and erasing King's save data. The Hero Association then gives Saitama the hero name Caped Baldy due to his appearance, while Genos is named Demon Cyborg for his aggressive combat style. Meanwhile, Garou continues his rampage, defeating Tank-Top Vegetarian. In Z City, the air in Bang's dojo is thick with defeat and disappointment. Chirenko, after 6 months of rigorous training, lies battered and broken, unable to continue. Bang, also known as Silverfang, urges him to push forward, but Chirenko's spirit is shattered. Expecting more from his dedicated students, Bang is frustrated by Chirenko's inability to rise. Convinced that Chirenko has not absorbed his teachings, Bang makes the tough decision to expel him from the dojo. Dejected, Chirenko finds his way to Saitama's apartment, recounting his humiliating defeat to Genos. Ever analytical, Genos connects Bang's unusual behavior to Garou's recent attacks on heroes. He theorizes that Bang might have expelled Chirenko to protect him from the growing threat Garou poses. Meanwhile, Saitama, King, and Fubuki remain blissfully unaware of the looming conflicts around them. As Chirenko wanders the city, he reflects on his own shortcomings and Bang's motivations. He hears rumors of Garou's brutal encounters with other heroes, including Tank-Top Master and his army, who are effortlessly defeated despite their numbers. Tank-Top Master, in particular, struggles to comprehend Garou's strength and skill, questioning whether Garou is truly human. Back at the dojo, Bang stands alone until his older brother Bomb arrives. They discuss Garou's transformation from Bang's former disciple to a formidable adversary, noting how much stronger and more dangerous Garou has become since their last encounter. Meanwhile, Garou continues his rampage, clashing with various heroes, including Golden Ball and Spring Mustachio. Each hero falls to Garou's superior martial arts prowess and strategic mind. Driven by his disdain for heroes and a desire to prove himself as a monster, Garou leaves a trail of defeated opponents. In another part of the city, 3 C-class heroes, Stubless, Hyotoko, and Red Nose, discuss Garou's exploits. Despite Stubless and Hyotoko's unease about Garou's growing power, Red Nose dismisses their concerns, believing Garou to be just another human. Their conversation is cut short when Garou appears unexpectedly, swiftly defeating them off-screen. The consequences of Garou's actions ripple through the Hero Association and beyond. Mumen Rider, recovering in the hospital from his encounter with Garou, receives a visit from Saitama. Ever nonchalant yet perceptive, Saitama discusses the growing threat of Garou and the implications for heroes like Mumen Rider and Tank-Top Master, who have suffered at Garou's hands. Still reeling from his expulsion, Chirenko attempts to confront Garou in a desperate bid to prove himself. However, Garou easily overwhelms him, showcasing his mastery of the water stream rock-smashing fist technique taught by Bang. As tensions escalate, Saitama learns about a martial arts competition offering a substantial cash prize. In a gesture of reconciliation, Chirenko offers Saitama a ticket to the competition. Intrigued by the prize money, Saitama decides to attend, seeing it as an opportunity to both test himself and learn more about martial arts. In a bar, Garou provokes Golden Ball into a fight, showcasing his arrogance and skill. Despite Golden Ball's best efforts, Garou emerges victorious, further cementing his reputation as a formidable adversary. Spring Mustachio arrives to aid Golden Ball, but Garou's ruthless efficiency and knowledge of heroes' techniques prove too much for them. Garou's encounters lead to a final showdown with a shady Hero Association employee named Zaimite. Annoyed by Zaimite's creepy behavior, Garou steps in and quickly disables him. However, Garou's moment of satisfaction is short-lived as he encounters Saitama, who is disguised with a wig. Underestimating Saitama as just another hero seeking recognition, Garou attempts to attack him. To his surprise, Saitama effortlessly counters his blows and knocks him out with a single strike. Ever practical, Saitama decides to keep the wig for the upcoming martial arts competition. Meanwhile, Genos, concerned about Saitama's baldness, seeks advice from Dr. Kuzeno about synthetic hair implants. Saitama dismisses Genos' worries, explaining that the wig is merely for the competition he plans to enter. When Garou was young, he always rooted for the bad guys, finding the good guys too popular and unfairly favored. When he asked his father why the good guys always won, his father simply replied that they were destined to. Garou saw this as unfair to the monsters, who he believed were trying their best, but were always seen as freaks and destined to lose. Unwilling to accept this, Garou resolved to become the strongest monster and change the scenario. Garou wakes up from his defeat against Saitama with no memory of what happened. He meets up with a young boy named Tario and spots Watchdog Man and Metal Bat, planning to confront them. Meanwhile, Saitama signs up for the Super Fight tournament, posing as Chiranko. As he reviews the list of contestants, Sourface, a former disciple of Bang, appears. Sourface aims to win the tournament to gain fame like Bang and reveals that a contestant named Wolfman won the previous year. However, the authorities found the real Wolfman tied up, leading to a new rule. Any participants caught in disguises or as imposters will be disqualified, banned, and fined heavily. 6 months earlier, Garou rampaged through Bang's dojo, deciding he had nothing left to learn. He disabled many students, including Sourface, before being beaten and expelled by Bang. This incident caused Sourface to quit the dojo. When Sourface insults Chiranko, Saitama defends Chiranko's bravery for fighting Garou one-on-one. Unlike Sourface, who quit, Saitama vows to win the tournament, angering Sourface. Meanwhile, the Hero Association plans to protect its officials from monster attacks by assigning S-class heroes as bodyguards. King, through misrepresentation, avoids this duty by claiming to fight a secret boss, which the staff misunderstands as a real monster, while he is actually playing a video game. Metal Bat, on the other hand, is tasked with babysitting Narinki, a VIP sponsor of the Hero Association, and his son Wagama at a mouse sushi restaurant in S-City, missing his sister's piano performance. During the babysitting, Metal Bat receives a call from his sister when suddenly, monsters Junior Centipede and Venus Mantrap attack Narinki. Metal Bat easily defeats them. However, another monster, Senior Centipede, launches an attack, followed by Rafflesidon, who releases sleeping gas, knocking out Narinki and Wagama. Metal Bat endures numerous hits before reviving himself with a headbutt, killing the 2 demon-level monsters. Local heroes Pineapple and Mohican take Narinki and Wagama to safety when a dragon-level monster, Elder Centipede, attacks Metal Bat. During the intense battle, Elder Centipede knocks Metal Bat near Garou. Mistaking Metal Bat for dead, Garou plans to confront Watchdog Man but is surprised when Metal Bat wakes up. Garou challenges Metal Bat to a fight. Initially, Metal Bat refuses but barely manages to block Garou's attack. Meanwhile, a martial artist named Suryu is seen asking 2 girls to lead him to the Super Fight tournament. In the Hero Association headquarters, tension filled the air as they discussed the threat of Elder Centipede, a dragon-level menace they had encountered 2 years ago. The shortage of available heroes to face this colossal threat was evident. A concerned girl mentioned that King was currently engaged in a battle and questioned the whereabouts of the remaining S-class heroes. Suddenly, a flood of emergency calls caused panic among the staff. The scene shifted to the battleground where Pineapple and Mohican were valiantly trying to save Director Narinki and his son Wagama. Just as Elder Centipede was about to launch a devastating attack on them, Class S Rank 6 Hero Metal Knight arrived, firing missiles at the beast. However, his efforts proved futile as the missiles failed to leave a scratch on the armored monster. Realizing the toughness of Elder Centipede's armor, Metal Knight quickly assessed the situation. Meanwhile, Pineapple and Mohican found themselves facing other smaller monsters. The narrative then turned to the fierce fight between Garou and Metal Bat. Garou taunted Metal Bat, suggesting he was tired and not as strong as he thought. Infuriated, Metal Bat attacked, but Garou skillfully dodged and counterattacked, leaving Metal Bat covered in blood. Despite seemingly defeating Metal Bat, Garou grudgingly admitted that Metal Bat would have won if he had landed just 1 hit. To Garou's surprise, Metal Bat got up and nearly delivered a fatal blow when Garou's back was turned, but stopped when his younger sister, Zenko, intervened. Garou, who had a soft spot for children, relented and walked away, seeking Watchdog Man. Metal Bat, severely injured, attempted to confront Elder Centipede, but collapsed from the damage sustained in his battles. Pineapple and Mohican, now burdened with the unconscious Narinki and Wagama, encountered Rhino Wrestler, who swiftly defeated them and captured Wagama. Sludge Jellyfish oozed towards Zenko, intending to use her as a hostage, but was blasted apart by Garou. Preparing for another fight, Garou was interrupted by Phoenix Man, who called for a ceasefire. The two monsters tried to persuade Garou to join the Monster Association, but Garou refused. Phoenix Man promised that they would meet again if Garou continued his hunt for heroes and ordered Elder Centipede and the other monsters to retreat. Metal Knight attached himself to Elder Centipede and followed them. Meanwhile, Bang and Bomb were on the hunt for Garou. Bang, frustrated, violently killed a monster named Fist Fight Jin. Simultaneously, various monsters of different disaster levels, including Martial Gorilla, Deus 100-Eye Octopus, Pureblood, and Mycoplasma, launched simultaneous attacks on heroes, stretching the hero forces thin and alarming the Hero Association. Duet attempted to kill Dynamite Man with her mind-controlled heroes, but Fubuki intervened, stopping her attack. In another part of the city, the Super Fight tournament was in full swing. Saitama, posing as Chiranko, was introduced to other contestants, including Bakuzen, Suryu, Lightning Max, Lin, Hamikichi, Chose, Zyko's, and Snek. With Genos watching from the crowd, Suryu noticed Bakuzen's bloodlust and was only interested in the prize money, though he wished he could have fought against Wolfman, Garou at the time. After Lightning Max defeated Lin, Zyko's revealed that fighters were often paired based on their apparent strength. Saitama, deducing that Zyko's was weak since he was paired with him, swiftly defeated Zyko's with a single slap, much to his own annoyance. Suryu, intrigued by Saitama's strength, looked forward to facing him in the finals, setting the stage for an exciting showdown in the tournament. The arena buzzed with anticipation as Suryu and Lightning Max stepped into the ring. Lightning Max couldn't help but wonder if Suryu was stronger than he appeared. The fight commenced with a flurry of blows, but it was over in an instant. Suryu, with a single devastating punch, sent Lightning Max crashing to the ground, unconscious. Genos watched in disbelief, realizing that ordinary people could possess strength surpassing even classer heroes. This revelation reminded him of his master, Saitama. Suddenly, Genos received an urgent message about a surge of monsters swarming the city. The scene shifted to classer hero Snek's match against Benpatsu. Snek emerged victorious, but the victory was overshadowed by alerts about the monsters. The announcers considered evacuating the audience, but Bakuzen convinced them to stay. In another match, Sourface defeated Jacuman, and despite their fierce battle, they parted amicably. Sourface, brimming with excitement, rushed to tell Saitama about his win, only to find him absent, having gone to the bathroom. Meanwhile, Saitama faced Bakuzen, who sadistically detailed his plans to destroy Saitama. However, when Bakuzen touched Saitama's wig, Saitama nonchalantly punched him out of the tournament with a single blow. Back in the city, Genos fought valiantly, destroying numerous monsters. However, the demon-level awakened cockroach barely escaped his grasp. As Genos turned his back, a mysterious being launched a surprise attack. Elsewhere, Hero Association members Pineapple and Mohican discovered that Wagama had been captured, but Narinki was safe. Deus, a formidable villain, managed to brainwash Fubuki's henchmen, but Fubuki fought back fiercely. Deus taunted Fubuki, declaring her intention to face Tatsumaki. Fubuki warned that Tatsumaki would know if she was hurt, and right on cue, Tatsumaki arrived, effortlessly dispatching the brainwashed henchmen and chastising Fubuki for relying on them. In the arena, Suryu faced Snek. Suryu easily dodged Snek's attacks, mocking him for his ineffectiveness as a hero and his aimless quest for power. Enraged, Snek charged, but Suryu knocked him out with a single blow, musing that the truly strong would always prevail. As the dust settled, a post-credit scene revealed Garou eyeing Watchdog Man, Saitama still in the bathroom, and a dragon-level monster named Guketsu standing over the defeated Genos. In the dark depths of an underground lair, a devil spoke of the Hero Association's weakening state. With a sinister grin, he declared that now was the perfect time for the Monster Association to seize power. The Monster King Orochi, surrounded by his loyal subordinates, reveled in the prospect of dismantling the Hero Association. Meanwhile, the ongoing martial arts tournament had 4 participants remaining. Kurenko, feeling the itchiness of his wig, finally removed it. One of his fellow contestants approached him, asking if he was nervous. He warned Kurenko that the next opponent was incredibly dangerous. At the Watchdog's headquarters, a hero had just arrived when the monsters launched an attack. In the security room, officers scrambled as reports of multiple monster attacks flooded in. One officer inquired about the poison antidote for Y City, but it had yet to arrive. Heroes were scattered, battling various demons across different locations. Dogman faced a snake-tentacled monster, narrowly escaping death by using a self-destruct mechanism. Drive Knight arrived to confront a massive demon, skillfully avoiding its attacks before decisively defeating it. Another hero dispatched yet another demon, only for a snake-tentacled monster to corner the Child Emperor, who was searching for the antidote. Just as the Child Emperor succeeded, the monster attacked. However, Pig God arrived just in time, engulfing the monster and saving the Child Emperor. The Child Emperor watched in awe as Pig God consumed the poisonous beast and sent the antidote to the security team. Relief washed over the control room as they received the antidote. Back at the tournament, the competition raged on. Kurenko was set to face Chose, who boasted about his superior breed. Yet, Kurenko defeated Chose with a single punch. In the control room, contact with the A-class heroes was lost, prompting the decision to deploy the S-class heroes. The A-class heroes gathered as an S-class hero arrived, dismissing them as weak. Amidst their conversation, a monster appeared. The S-class hero attacked, only to see the monster lifted into the air by Terrible Tornado, who swiftly took control and reprimanded them before departing. In another part of the world, the Masters convened a meeting to discuss the hero hunter Garou and Silver Fang. They decided to eliminate them swiftly. The Old Master inquired about updates from Amajiri, Zenbai, and Nichiren, receiving positive reports. However, Harajiri criticized the Holy Order of Sword members for their camaraderie, revealing monster cells he claimed would make them the strongest. The Masters argued that the cells would turn them into monsters. Harajiri transformed, threatening to kill them if they refused to take the cells. Atomic Samurai, disappointed, swiftly dealt with Harajiri before joining the other heroes waiting outside. Back at the tournament, Kurenko faced Suryu. Suryu had figured out Kurenko's tactic of guarding his head and launched relentless attacks. Kurenko defended himself skillfully, much to the spectators' delight. Suryu taunted Kurenko, dismissing heroes as boring and weak. As Suryu continued his assault, Kurenko's wig fell off, stunning everyone. The referees convened and disqualified Kurenko for hiding his true self. Infuriated, Kurenko attacked Suryu, who retaliated fiercely. Yet Kurenko refrained from counterattacking, realizing something profound about martial arts. Kurenko declared that martial arts were about looking cool and walking with a relaxed mind. He then used a hip move, causing Suryu's boxes to fall. The referees moved to take Kurenko away, but he ran off. Suryu, unable to grasp his first defeat, stood bewildered. In the heart of the stadium, Suryu was presented with the winning trophy, yet he couldn't shake the memory of Kurenko's single blow. Though the victory was his, a seed of doubt had been planted. He tried to move past it, chatting with a girl and complimenting her beauty. Suddenly, an announcement blared through the speakers. The city was under monster attack. The stadium's crowd was instructed to stay put until it was safe outside, but panic ensued. Chaos erupted as monstrous birds swooped over the stadium, clutching the injured heroes Rosie, Dave, and Basuzu in their talons. Goketsu, the devilish monster, entered the scene. Eyeing the heroes, he proclaimed they would make excellent monsters. Meanwhile, the monster head was plotting far more than mere destruction. Their goal was to turn humans into monsters. Goketsu offered the heroes a chance to gain great power by consuming monster cells. Initially hesitant, one hero stepped forward, ate a cell, and transformed into a powerful demon. Others followed suit, including Jakumen and several more heroes, all morphing into monstrous beings. Suryu, witnessing this horror, attacked one of the newly transformed monsters, showcasing his strength. Goketsu, impressed, offered Suryu the same choice. Suryu held the monster cell but ultimately refused, declaring he would not become an ugly monster. He launched a flurry of kicks, stunning his adversaries. Elsewhere, Watchdogman was celebrated by the crowd for defeating numerous monsters, hailed as a true savior. The hero hunter observed from the shadows and attacked Watchdogman, who struggled to discern if his assailant was human or monster. Nonetheless, Watchdogman fended off the attacks. Back in the stadium, Suryu was still battling the monsters. Goketsu threatened to count to 3 before unleashing a brutal assault. As Suryu fought valiantly, the monsters used a diversion, attacking the spectators to distract him. Goketsu struck Suryu, who was then thrown before the monster crows. Despite this, Suryu managed to fend them off and called for help from a fellow hero, who admitted Suryu was far stronger and ate the monster cells himself. Suryu found himself alone again, battling the horde. Some heroes were defending the hospital from another monster attack, successfully holding their ground. Suryu launched another attack but was saved by Max and Snek, equipped with special suits and shoes. They urged Suryu to escape while they fought the monsters together. Attempting to flee, Suryu was intercepted by Bakuzan, who relentlessly attacked him. Goketsu explained their threefold plan: spread terror, kidnap those associated with the Hero Association, and convert potential humans into monsters. Nyan had already transformed many prisoners, and Goketsu had turned numerous heroes. A monstrous eye summoned Goketsu back, suggesting Bakuzan join them. Bakuzan, defiant, refused to take orders. Goketsu displayed the formidable strength of their monstrous comrades, all heading to their hideout on the outskirts of District City. Despite his exhaustion, Shuryu was forced to continue fighting Bakuzan, who showed no mercy. Bakuzan taunted Shuryu, reminding him of all he had tasted: fame, money, women, power, and now he must face hell. Desperate, Shuryu called for help, and Chirenko appeared, declaring he was also a hero, there to save Shuryu. The clash between heroes and monsters intensified, each side fighting for survival and supremacy in a world where power and fear reigned supreme. Shuryu lies helpless on the floor, calling desperately for the heroes. A shadow fell over him, and a hero appeared, promising to take care of everything. Bakuzan, seeing this new arrival, was enraged. He felt humiliated by this hero in the tournament and now sought revenge, boasting of his newfound strength. But the hero, unperturbed and seemingly forgetful of Bakuzan, effortlessly struck him down, tearing him to pieces. The hero introduced himself as the Great Saitama. Saitama reassured Shuryu that although he had won the tournament, it was Saitama who had saved his life. Shuryu, astonished by Saitama's power, thanked him. He warned Saitama about the Monster Association's plan to turn people into monsters using monster cells, revealing that the creature Saitama had just killed was Bakuzan from the tournament. Saitama, indifferent, admitted he didn't remember everyone he punched. Despite Suryu's warnings about Goketsu, the strongest martial arts champion, Saitama saw it as an opportunity and left to confront him. Elsewhere, Genos flew through the sky. Saitama, hearing a noise, found Goketsu and swiftly dispatched him. Goketsu's head fell at Suryu's feet, and Saitama returned, asking Suryu to keep his participation in the tournament a secret. Suryu, awed and inspired, asked Saitama if he could become a hero too. Saitama affirmed that anyone could become a hero but declined Suryu's request to be his disciple. Meanwhile, Puri prisoner was engaged in battle with a thorn-covered monster. Despite his hesitation due to his nakedness, he used one of his techniques to defeat the monster, only to learn that his comrades had been taken away. As Saitama wandered the streets, he reflected on his journey. He had joined the Hero Association out of boredom, entered tournaments, defeated heroes, and confronted monsters. As he walked, he met King, who advised him to consider a vacation and suggested growing his hair. While they walked, the hero hunter spotted them and attacked, but Saitama swiftly neutralized him, unaware that this was the hero hunter he had heard about. He mused about facing a strong opponent one day, not realizing he had just dispatched one. In the jungle, a hero known as Speed-O-Sound Sonic encountered some monsters who introduced themselves as members of the Monster Association. They offered him a monster cell, promising it would make him the greatest of all. Sonic, recalling his past defeat at Saitama's hands, decided to become a monster to seek vengeance. However, after frying the monster cell and eating it, he was struck with severe diarrhea. Back in the city, authorities were in turmoil over the ongoing havoc. In the control room, Hero Association authorities received alarming reports about the Monster Association's revolutionary plans and the kidnapping of a board executive's son. That discussion was interrupted by a man who turned out to be a monster, delivering a message from the Monster Association. In a cozy room, Saitama sat with King, both absorbed in a video game. Despite Saitama's best efforts, he kept losing, while King effortlessly clicked a few buttons and won each game. Frustrated, Saitama eventually concluded that the game was stupid. As he fiddled with some gadgets, he noticed a prototype device designed to summon heroes or maintain contact with them. Noticing he had 0 messages, King reassured him that people probably understood Saitama wasn't good with technology. Meanwhile, in the Hero Association's control room, Officers were in a tense meeting with the monster officer Joro Joro. Joro Joro claimed they wanted a peaceful coexistence with humans, but the officers questioned their recent attacks. Joro Joro responded that the attacks were to demonstrate their strength and persuade humans of their mutual benefits. When one officer rejected the idea of harmony, Joro Joro shot him dead, revealing his true intentions. He declared they had kidnapped the son of a Hero Association executive and demanded the presence of all S-class heroes in City Z for his release. Following this, he self-destructed, and another monster attacked. The security team quickly summoned Blockbuster, who dispatched the monster, showcasing his strength. In the monster's hideout, Joro Joro delivered a rousing speech, promising the eradication of the Hero Association and declaring Lord Orochi the future king of the world. The monsters listened in silence, and when one questioned him, they were swiftly punished. They spared Super S, deeming her powers too valuable. Joro Joro challenged anyone opposed to Lord Orochi to face him directly. When asked about Goketsu, Joro Joro concealed his defeat. Elsewhere, the hero hunter roamed the streets. Spotting A-class hero Death Gatling, he hid away. Meanwhile, Genos visited Dr. Kuzeno for new suit modifications, receiving a fine suit along with a warning not to push himself too far. News broadcasts reported the Monster Association's catastrophic destruction of the city. Injured heroes watched in fear, dreading an impending war. One hero proposed infiltrating the monster base to Metal Knight, who prioritized financial stability over immediate action. The Hero Association's senior authorities debated the press leak and decided to showcase their strength, speculating the monster's base was in Zero District. Saitama, after defeating numerous monsters, remembered the garbage truck schedule and ran off, leaving the scene. A young boy named Tario talked to his friends about a strange man sleeping in his shack. The kids suggested kicking the man out, but when Tario confronted him, he broke down in tears. The man, actually the hero hunter, reassured Tario he would leave soon and encouraged him not to let his friends mock him. He asked Tario to bring his friends to the shack. Outside, heroes gathered, informed about the hero hunter's presence. They warned the kids to leave, but Tario stayed behind. The hero hunter advised Tario to become strong to avoid mockery, letting him go but keeping his hero guidebook. Peering through a hole in the wall, he saw 8 heroes waiting. He stepped outside, cautioning them not to damage the shack as it had a comfy bed. The heroes prepared for battle. A fierce fight ensued. The hero hunter evaluated their strengths and countered their every move with calculated precision. Despite their combined efforts, he stood his ground, showcasing his formidable prowess. The heroes urged him to surrender, but he stood defiantly, ready to face them all. The hero hunter, Guru, recalled a time from his childhood. Back then, he had witnessed the defeat of a hero named Crab Demon by Justice Man. While other kids cheered for Justice Man, Guru sympathized with Crab Demon, believing the monster's fight to be just. Crab Demon had been defending the beautiful ocean, and Guru didn't appreciate the other kids' admiration for Justice Man. This memory solidified his disdain for conventional heroism. In the present, surrounded by heroes, one of them spoke about the disparity between A-class and S-class heroes. Despite both classes battling monsters, S-class heroes were treated as superior, attending special meetings and receiving preferential treatment. The A-class heroes were left to fend for themselves. Guru realized that no S-class heroes were present because these A-class heroes wanted to prove themselves. He viewed them as mere stepping stones on his path to becoming the greatest monster, even though some kids might be disappointed by his transformation. The fight began, but the heroes struggled against Guru, who had grown bigger and stronger. He dodged their moves, defended effortlessly, and anticipated their tactics, thanks to the hero guidebook he had studied. Despite their efforts, the heroes couldn't match his strength and cunning. In the midst of the battle, one hero pulled out a gun and started shooting, forcing Guru to evade. He remembered his early days as a hero when he wasn't paid, but still stood by his comrades. Genos appeared and engaged Guru in a fierce battle. Meanwhile, Saitama was losing repeatedly to King in video games, growing increasingly desperate to win. King received an alert about a situation, and Saitama suggested they go deal with the monsters. King mentioned the numerous monsters passing through the area, likely hiding in the mostly abandoned City Z. Saitama wondered about Genos, but King reassured him. Back at the battle, Genos and Guru fought intensely. Genos used a trick to harm Guru, but Guru defended himself skillfully. Suddenly, monsters from the Monster Association arrived to support Guru. He killed one, asserting that he didn't need their help. Just then, Bang and his brother, Slashing Steel, arrived. They informed Genos they would handle Guru. Slashing Steel took care of the monsters, while Bang confronted Guru directly. Bang, seated atop Garou, brought back memories of Garou's childhood. Garou remembered fainting when he first met Bang, who then offered him food. Today, Bang had come to end Garou's rampage once and for all. Bang and Slashing Steel knew Garou well, having seen his potential and struggles from a young age. As Bang prepared to fight Garou, he hoped to save his former student from his path of destruction. Garou, now cornered and surrounded, faced not just physical defeat, but the emotional reckoning with his past. Bang was fighting Garou with all his might, leaving everyone stunned. Despite Garou's efforts, he couldn't land a hit on Bang, who remained remarkably strong. After a prolonged battle, Bang's brother announced that he had dealt with all the monsters, leaving only Garou. Overhead, a monster bird circled, planning to rescue Garou, but upon seeing the gathered heroes, it sent additional monsters to help. As Bang continued the fight, Garou experienced flashbacks of his childhood, recalling how he was bullied and beaten by other kids. They had coerced him into playing the role of the monster in their hero games, always leaving him on the losing end. Garou resented how the most popular kids, like Tatsu, would always be the hero. One day, Garou resisted, leading to false accusations of madness. Despite his protests, everyone blamed him, subjecting him to strict actions and questioning his behavior. No one understood how the hero game had tormented him, leading to his hatred for heroes and his belief that they all deserved punishment. Determined, Garou resumed the fight, but just as it intensified, a monstrous wave swept in, and the bird grabbed Garou, taking him away. As it flew, Sentakoro emerged from the ground, stunning the heroes. Garou demanded the bird release him, but it insisted on following orders. The bird explained that Gyoro had determined only 4 S-class heroes could defeat Sentakoro: Terrible Tornado, King, the strongest human alive, Metal Might, and Blast, who had nearly killed Sentakoro in a previous battle. Sentakoro's goal was to draw Blast to the battlefield, as the 2 S-class heroes present, Bang and Genos, wouldn't be enough to defeat it. The fight began, and Bang, Silver Fang, and Genos launched a coordinated attack, tearing Sentakoro to pieces. However, to their horror, Sentakoro molted its old body, emerging with a new, stronger form. The heroes were shocked but continued to fight. Despite their efforts, they couldn't defeat Sentakoro. Genos urged them to flee while he held the monster off. He flew over Sentakoro, striking repeatedly, but Sentakoro used its blades to cut Genos in half. Gathering his strength, Genos managed to blast his way out from inside Sentakoro, severely damaging it. Bang and Silver Fang couldn't believe their eyes, seeing Genos' bravery. However, Genos lay on the ground, powerless, feeling he had failed again. Garou watched, dissatisfied with the outcome. The monster bird insisted that Garou didn't have the power to handle the situation alone, but Garou wanted to defeat the heroes single-handedly to become the most feared monster. Meanwhile, Sentakoro continued its assault on Genos, but Bang saved him, and the brothers escaped, protecting Genos. King arrived, announcing that he had brought Blast, using a ruse to prevent casualties near the city. In the control room, a female security officer revealed that she had informed King about Sentakoro's grudge against Blast. This trick ultimately allowed them to defeat Sentakoro with Saitama's help. King remarked to Saitama that he looked refreshed, and Saitama replied that he had finally relieved his frustration from losing in the video games. Genos, feeling weak, expressed his doubts, but Saitama and King reassured him. Finally, they all decided to head home, bringing an end to their ordeal.